Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tom, F. Dot, and it's Wednesday, which means it's the day before SPL kicks off for real. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are the games that are the days that we play games. So, with Wednesday coming, it's the last chance you really got to get your picks in before the whole week starts. So, I'm going to walk you through what I've chosen, and maybe you'll follow along and take home some of the free FP that my picks are going to give you. So, Epsilon versus Myrmidons is the first game that we get to see on Thursday. It's Europe, and it is the freight train undefeated powerhouse of Epsilon versus Myrmidons, a team struggling to learn and sort of join everybody else in the Pro League. They're a strong roster. It's very much a learning split for them. It's the first split that Myrmidons is in the SPL. It's the second for Epsilon, but as I said, they're undefeated. They're ridiculously strong. This is 2-0 Epsilon. There really is no contest here. And it's not even about Myrmidons being poor. The headline, the story, and the conclusion, and the letter to the editor is just all about Epsilon being out of this world. So just trust me on this one. This is 2-0 flat out. I won't lose you here. Now, Denial versus Cognitive is a little different. These teams are more evenly matched, and I think Cognitive is on the upswing. Cognitive is a team on paper that's very, very good. But they didn't have any practice coming into the split. They were a brand new team, so week 1 and week 2 were a little deceptive as far as their overall skill level, so to speak. Week 3, they take a game off of Team Solo Mid out of nowhere, and that's really the Cognitive that you need to start thinking about. That's the team that is really the identity of this squad. So taking on Denial Esports, I think that these teams are evenly matched, but coming off of last week, I think Cognitive has some wind in their sails, and they have the momentum. And Denial, on the other hand, they 2-0'd Eager, but one of the games was in a sort of disconnect situation. I don't have faith in this Denial squad going up against the Cognitive team. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say Cognitive 2-0s, but I won't be surprised if this wound up being a split. So I think either split or Cognitive is a safe way to go. I don't see Denial being able to take 2 games to none over Cognitive. I think after last week, Cog proved that they're the real deal and they're ready to play. So I've got 2-0. I won't be offended if you go split because Denial's got some talent, but I've got 2-0 Cog. Now for Friday, Titan versus Paradigm. This is similar to Cog versus Denial, but up a level. 2 teams very, very strong, but evenly matched, right? So it's the next level of the North American match that we saw. This one, historically, Paradigm has always beat Titan. Regardless of their skill level, individually or as a team, Paradigm has just they have Titan's number, whatever that may be. So they're evenly matched. I'm going to go with the history of it all. Paradigm gets Titan 2-0 in this one, despite being very evenly matched. AFK versus Team Solo Mid in North America on Friday. This one, again, AFK versus TSM. 2 very strong teams. Friday is actually one of the cooler days of SPL that we have. 2 top-end teams, 2 top-end teams in both Europe and America fighting off. This one was tough, but I do think AFK winds up on top 2-0. They're really strong. I don't think they're as strong relatively as Epsilon is in their region, but I do think that AFK has enough to just take Team Solo Mid down 2-0 no problem. Maybe not no problem. I think that these games will last a long time. I'm minimizing the series a little bit, but AFK can definitely take out TSM 2-0 just by the fact that AFK has looked strong all along. There really is no stutter step. Team Solo Mid has dropped games, and when they drop them really hard. That has me throwing some question marks, and while that might not bother TSM when they're playing the rest of the pack, when you're going up against the number 1 team at the moment, AFK, well, I guess the number 2, TSM, won Summer Finals, but AFK has to start worrying about that. Remember, Team Solo Mid did beat AFK in the finals after a 3-game run back, but AFK won the first 2, and it's only a 2-game set. So I think AFK can win the first 2 one more time. Coming into Saturday, big chunk of games, Myrmidons versus Fnatic. This time around, this is Fnatic's week. Normally, I would call this a split because I have a lot of faith in Myrmidons. I think that's a very strong team. But last week, Fnatic is off to a rough start, and a lot of that had to do with sort of Captain Twig being in a slump. Last week, Captain Twig started to drag himself out of that slump. And if everybody's on the same level, I think this is the week that Fnatic gets the ball rolling. I think we see large plays, large deficits, large goal disparities in these games. Fnatic comes out swinging, hungry for blood, 2-0 over Myrmidons. Epsilon versus Justice, same story as Epsilon versus Myrmidons early in the week. Justice, they've got some new coaching going on. They're doing a lot of work behind the scenes, upgraded in their opinion, their solo lane. Good for you guys. Hope you're going to take notes because you're going to have to learn from Professor Epsilon when they come to town. Steamrolling ball, can't be stopped. Maybe can be stopped. Justice, not the team to stop them. Epsilon 2-0s one more time on Friday. Now, Cognitive Gaming versus Cloud9. I sang the praises of Cognitive before. I like this team. I think that they can do strong against Denial. Cloud9's a little bit different. I think Cloud9 is a strong team. Just like Cognitive needed some time together, some weeks to gel as a unit to sort of get to where they're supposed to be, Cloud9 has a new solo laner, and I think that sort of thing had to do the same idea. A couple of weeks passed. Baskin Robin now a little bit better on the team. Cloud9, better unit. 2-0's Cognitive. Not no problem. I think one of these games is a little closer than the others, but I do think ultimately Cloud9 claims both. Denial versus Elevate. This one's a split for me. Denial comes down and does well, as I said, but I historically sort of underestimate Denial for what it's worth. Elevate on the other side, I think this is their first win. I think that Elevate can come in and sort of take a game off of Denial. I don't think it's going to be easy for them. I think it'll be a long game. But Elevate is the team of the rookies that have a lot of talent, but we haven't seen them get a win. I think Denial will be able to be a win for this squad. Whether it's Denial dropping the game or Elevate hard or going hard carry against them, that's a different story. Not sure what world we're going to see the win come out in, but I do think it's going to be a split, and Elevate will get their first win against Denial this week. Closing out the week on Sunday, we've got Paradigm versus Dignitas, and Paradigm is going to beat Dignitas. I flat out don't think the Dignitas squad is good enough to beat Paradigm. I think that Dignitas is arguably the worst team in Europe, and there are a lot of things sort of making that happen. Now, I love the dudes on the team, and it's unfortunate, but I just don't think all the wheels are spinning at the right times, and because of that, Paradigm, easy peasy lemon squeezy, Dignitas 2-0. Fnatic versus London Conspiracy. Again, another match that's supposed to be somewhat close. Fnatic and LC. Fnatic is definitely the more talented squad here, but London Conspiracy is not trailing by much. But I maintain that this is Fnatic's week. I think that Fnatic, coming off their wins earlier in the week, will just take that status and keep going on Sunday, be able to take out London Conspiracy 2-0 no problem. And then from this point forward, look for a different Fnatic. This team is going to be a lot stronger later on in the season. This is week 4. We've got 6 more weeks. Expect to see a different Fnatic than you saw 1 through 3. Team Solo Mid versus Enemy. Enemy is a strong club. 6-2, but I think this is where reality sets in. Enemy has been overperforming, in my opinion. I think that while they're talented, I think that their 6 wins, 2 losses is sort of deceptive. I think that they are not as good as their win-loss record tells you. Sort of like Cloud9 is 3-3. I don't think they're a middle-of-the-pack team. I think the same could be said about where Enemy's at. I think week 4 is where we see the other shoe drop. Reality sets in. Team Solo Mid 2-0's this squad. Maybe Enemy puts up a fight in one of them. Enemy's whole jam is playing from behind. But the problem is Team Solo Mid is going to put Enemy very far behind, I think. And Enemy won't be able to claw their way out of it, especially when you take into account the individual skill level of Team Solo Mid as a whole. Cloud9 versus Eager is the matchup that ends out the week. And I think this one goes right down the middle to a split. I think Cloud9 is very, 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 very strong. But I think Eager is also very, very strong. So I think these teams are going to go back and forth. I think this is going to be a long set. I think we're going to see 30-minute plus games on each side. And at the end of it all, when the dust settles, it'll be 1 win on each of these teams' win columns. I think that these teams are very, very closely related as far as skill level is concerned. Meaning, I think that Eager has grown a lot. And borrowing a world championship solo laner never hurt anybody. So those are my picks for the week. I'll put a link to the image in the description of the video if you guys want to just catch that real quick. But otherwise, I appreciate it. If you guys want to see something different next week, because I'm going to be putting these out every week, I guess. If you want to see something different, let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, do the whole like and subscribe thing. I appreciate that shit. We're trying to grow the channel. So that's it for me. I will catch you guys tomorrow, probably with a different video. But either way, keep it real. I'll catch you later. Peace.